This is Buying the Hobby, where sports meets strategy and every card tells a story. From breakout stars to monster pools, we break it down so you know who to chase and when to strike. Let's dive in.
And welcome back to Buying the Hobby. Dante, how are you, brother?
I'm doing well. You look a lot different this week.
A little
Last week
tanner?
you were a little like the dog, a little blonde dog. But, no, you missed out on a good interview.
I know. I wanted to be here for it.
He was very, very fluffy. I love dogs.
Yeah, me too.
He's a cute one. Very well trained.
I know.
I
wish my dog was like that.
No,
My dog's not retrieving no bats. I promise you that.
No, going crazy. No, that was a very fun guest. Thank you to them for coming in. Talked to Tyler last week, a little NBA. And now we have, after, 13 weeks of being in the NBA Finals, we finally crown a
champ.
A champ.
Now, I'm going to take an assumption here. I didn't get to listen to last week's episode yet, just because I was traveling all week. Tyler despises the Oklahoma City Thunder. I know he does, and I know he talked about it with you, didn't he?
I think so. I think
because he's a Nuggets fan, and all he did the weeks bringing up, he was salty. He's salty that SGA. Now we should get him on the phone during this podcast and see what he says about this win, because I know he's sleeping, so we're not going to do that. Sure. But I can guarantee you he hates that, because did he won MVP, right?
He won everything.
MVP of the finals too.
He won everything this year.
That's interesting.
You want to talk about I don't want to say a near perfect season, but a near perfect season for SGA.
For rewards.
Yeah, for awards, for accolades.
As an accolade. I was going to say, as an accolade.
Regular season title, the whole entire NBA. You, number one overall seed, goes with that. You also had MVP, scoring title.
Yep.
Western Conference Finals MVP. You also had Finals MVP and Finals champion.
That's
Your
not bad.
Season couldn't have gone any more perfect.
We were literally talking about
hurt
that
once this year.
I know. We were talking about that.
Near perfect season.
The last time we had our episode is the last time somebody had a Finals MVP and a regular season MVP.
Yep.
Was Steph Curry in 2016, and there's only been 5 or 6, I think, maybe.
There hasn't been many. I know Jordan was one of them back in the 90s. I think he did it multiple times. But yeah,
probably that 90. What is it? 96,
95,
97,
96, or
96, 97.
There's a bunch of in that span. Yeah, near perfect season for SGA.
Yeah, shout out SGA. I mean, good for him.
I give him kudos. The free throw line bothers me, but I won't be a hater for today.
Well, I'm sure we're gonna talk about it, but I can't remember. It was some type of Barstool post on Instagram. I'm sure you saw it. This guy was just ridiculing SGA, calling him the worst MVP. In the history.
I did.
Can't remember who. You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know his name.
And I'm not huge into basketball, but I started watching this season, and looking at it, I can see, I guess, from an outsider's point of view that has no bias in it, where that's coming from. A lot of push-offs. I mean, we saw the play in the finals against what's his name? For the Indiana Pacers. Name off some players.
Nembhard?
Nope.
Benedict Mathurin?
Nope.
Siakam?
Nope. McCollum asked for a push-off. They got the steal, went down, scored, and won. And I was like,
yep.
I mean, yeah, I can kind of see it. I don't know if that's how it was the whole series, because I hadn't been really watching it.
It was aggressive. It was pushy. Last game was low scoring. It was very... I think at the end of the day, it was
Game 7
a lot
was
better
sloppy.
Defensively.
It was a sloppy game.
Thought. Yeah, because Indiana loves to score and not play defense.
Yep.
Some of the games were semi-high scoring.
Yeah.
But for Pacers standards, where they're scoring 125, 130 in a game,
not their repertoire.
Not necessarily their repertoire. But listen, obviously Tyrese Haliburton went down in the first quarter, and it changed everything.
Oh, everything.
Everything.
I thought the troops, because they went. It was 5 or 6 minutes left in the second. They ended up having the lead going into halftime. I thought they're rallying the troops. Spicy P is going to take them to a victory here without Tyrese Haliburton.
Here's the thing: Haliburton started 3 for 4 from 3.
I know he had balling.
9 points.
He was balling.
Quick. I think that game would have been different.
I think so too.
I will stand on the highest mountain and argue that would have been the Indiana Pacers championship.
Yeah.
When Halliburton dropped 40. When Halliburton is on, he's dropping 30, 10, and 10.
Yeah.
And he was going to that game.
I think it was going to come down right to the wire. You know, at worst case scenario, it was going to be a really, really good game. It's sad. It's sad to see it. And I know there's a lot of criticism going around. Oh, he shouldn't have played because of his calf injury and blah, blah, blah.
No,
Listen,
you have to.
If you've ever been a competitor in life, I don't care if it's high school, college, middle school, professional, whatever sport that you played, Haliburton is their number one player on that team. He's the leader. He's the leader on that.
He's the leader.
He's the leader on that team,
He's
right? He needed to be on that court, whether or not he had that calf injury. And you can't, if he didn't, two things would have happened, right? First off, if they would have lost, it would have been, oh, Haliburton, he's a wimp. You know, he doesn't take accountability for his team, and they would have won if he was there. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I think it was the right decision. I know it sucks that he went down the way he did, but any leader would have done the same exact thing for their team.
You have to play. Unless you are unable to walk.
Right.
Unable to run.
Yeah, unless you're in.
You have
actually, yeah, I agree.
You have to. And he looked fine. He looked perfectly fine.
He did.
Until obviously
he
didn't. But he looked perfectly
until his Achilles
fine.
rolled up the back of his leg. Sorry, Tyrese. Sorry.
He looked perfectly fine.
He did.
Until he went down.
Yeah,
was shooting unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I hate for them to go out that way.
I feel so bad for him.
I hate for them to go out that way because Pacers aren't getting back next
year.
I
was literally about to say that. They're not getting.
Pacers might not even make the playoffs next year.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, that is such a big. I understand they have a deep
They went
roster,
all in this year.
But
I feel like
TJ McCollum, Andrew Nembhard, Benedict Mathurin, and Pascal Siakam aren't going to do it.
Right.
Because I think
That's
Miles
tough.
Turner could leave too.
Yeah.
Miles Turner can go get money elsewhere, especially when he knows. Listen, I don't have many years left on my or on my in my career. Why not actually go to a team that I truly think can compete next year? Does he probably stay? Probably. He's been a Pacer for life. But I don't think they're going to be great next year. I don't think they have a shot at the championship. Halliburton's done for next year. Why not go somewhere else? I'm honestly, we might see a 27-point per game Pascal Siakam next year.
He's the buy
without Haliburton, and that also leads to. I mean, there's so many different elements with this. Is Haliburton's market, Mathurin's market, and Andrew Nembhard's market, and who to kind of invest in. The thing is with Nembhard's gone up a little bit in the last couple of weeks just because of how he's played. Mathurin really didn't get touched much.
Right. And he's younger. Like, he's got a lot of cards out there. He might be a nice
he was a
buy.
top 7 pick.
That's what I'm saying.
Top 7 pick.
And he's good. He's a good player.
Good.
Great player.
Those two I'm investing in right now solely based off Haliburton's injury, and those two will be leading guards next year for that team. And then Siakam, I think, takes another big jump up because he has to next year because there's nobody else to.
I'm going to stay away from every Indiana Pacer because I agree with you. I don't think they're going to be good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The only way is if I think there's potential for trade. Like, I think, so think about this for a second. This is short term, right? We just saw it a couple of nights ago. Kevin Durant traded to the Houston Rockets, and Jalen Green got moved. I'm not a fan of Jalen Green. I thought that after they lost in the playoffs this past year, I thought he was a great buy because everybody was talking smack, saying he sucked.
And
I agree. He's a good short term where, like, you knew he was going to probably get moved this offseason. It was like 50-50, right? Either way, he was going to be kind of the centerpiece of that Houston Rockets team. If he wasn't going to get moved, he did get moved. And we were talking before the pod. How about you tell people what you think about Jalen Green?
Oh, I love Jalen Green. I think he's a great player. I do think he gets traded again.
And that's what I was getting at. Is like he could get traded again.
Could Pacers be one of them?
Lot of people talking about him in the media right now. I think it might be a little too late, but I thought that after his playoff performance, where not great, it was a great time to buy. You know?
Oh,
and now that
100%.
the offseason's here, I still don't mind buying him before he gets traded again.
Oh, I think you 100% should buy him right now.
Right.
We'll dive into it when we get down a little bit. But no, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
What the future with the Pacers looks like, I don't know.
Yeah.
What
it's
the future
scary.
with the Thunder looks like is I mean,
it's interesting.
You couldn't have drawn it up any better.
No.
You have 25 group full of 25-year-olds all on the rookie contract except like SGA.
Right.
I think no, because J-Dub hasn't. I don't think J-Dub signed his extension yet. Let me look it up because
he's only 20, 21.
Because he's only in his, I believe, third year. Jalen Williams extension.
He's phenomenal. You want me to be honest? I didn't even know who he really was this whole season.
He hasn't signed an extension yet, but he's eligible for a 5-year, $246 million rookie extension.
Like, I'll be honest, I didn't really know who he was prior, obviously, because I wasn't really watching basketball. And we definitely in New York weren't watching Oklahoma City Thunder because they're not like a, a big market team.
Yep.
Dude, I'm a huge.
J-Dub's good.
He's a beast. How about that 40-pointer?
I know. They needed that too.
Yeah, that
was
sick.
Huge for them.
Like, I know all I really knew for the Young Bucks was like SGA and Chet. Like, those were the only two guys that I really, really knew about. I'm big fan of J-Dub. Big fan. He's a beast.
Yeah, he's good. They're built very well, but after like 4 years, well, honestly, like the next 2 years, they are gonna get very vet minimum run down because they're not gonna be able to pay guys because Chet and J-Dub were still on their rookie deals where they can pay SGA.
They were same class,
same
no?
Class.
Damn.
They can pay SGA big money. They had to pay Hartenstein. Caruso's getting decent money. They can't. Long term, they can't pay all these guys.
Yeah.
It's not going to work out. But you have a 1 or 2 more year window where you can maximize it.
Agreed.
And really work off these rookie. It's kind of like how Brock Purdy has been on his rookie deal for years, and like he's paid nothing, and they could pay elsewhere.
Yep.
It can't last that long in OKC. But then again, everybody said that kind of with like Golden State, where. Steph wasn't on his rookie deal, but they weren't getting paid a lot.
Yeah, but they also weren't that young. Like
they
that
weren't.
That team wasn't that young.
There, but their contracts, like Clay, was not a massive contract. Draymond was not a big contract.
Yeah, that's
Curry
true.
was all right until they won the finals.
Yeah,
and then it got bigger, and then they had to live off of like Sean Livingston. They had to live off of like all these random vet minimum contracts. It still worked.
Yeah, no, it did.
But what their future looks like, it looks great. I literally just saw a report 20 minutes ago before we recorded the pod. OKC's already trying to trade up into the top 10 to get another first-round pick.
Jesus.
And the thing is, too.
I mean, that makes sense.
Realistically, they don't need another pick because their first-round pick from last year, it was injured all year.
Yeah.
So it's
Who was
basically
it?
Topic.
Yeah, yep.
So basically, they're getting a first-round pick.
Yeah, that's
They're basically getting a first-round pick.
Well, I think it comes back to what you were saying. Like they know that they can't keep all those pieces, so they're just gonna keep loading up on young stars that they can have in their repertoire moving forward, and they can just keep filling it in. You know,
dude, they still have so many draft picks.
Yeah. Oh,
That's the thing that nobody talks about is that the fact that OKC stockpiled all those draft picks from taking Al Horford's contract for 2 days, Danny Green's contract for 2 days. CP3, Paul George. Technically, I think they've expired on all those draft picks from the SGA thing. But they stockpiled so many draft picks and really never used them.
Yeah,
like they never went after a big star in the trade market. They moved around in the draft sometimes, but honestly, they kept moving down.
Right.
Like
to load up.
Yep. Like people forget they drafted Alfred Sengun. The Thunder drafted Alfred Sengun.
I didn't know that.
To the Rockets.
To the Rockets.
Like, that's another move where they were able to get more draft picks.
Right.
So they're just sitting on draft picks. What do you even do?
You just, like I said, I mean, rookie contracts last how long in the NBA? 3?
It depends. It depends on where you sign. Yep.
Either way, it's not as long as the NFL. So they're just going to keep replenishing, right? They're going to keep the people, like a player like SGA, they're going to load it up. Somebody like J-Dub, maybe they keep 2, but like Chet, maybe that's one that you move off, get more draft picks. But that's the point. They can't keep all 3 of those guys. You know what I'm saying? I don't think so with their contracts. No, you don't think? You think so?
You probably could, yeah.
That's
but
crazy.
Like I said, you're going to get very watered down. But the thing is, they have 900 rookies on their team.
That's my point, though, is they're just going to keep plugging in. If they can't afford a person, they're going to be like, well, I've got this 20-year-old that's ready to rock.
They literally they have Casey Wallace on a rookie contract.
Oh, Casey Wallace is there, too.
Lou Dort's been extended.
Lou Dort's nice.
He's good. You're never going to have to pay him too crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe he goes elsewhere after a couple
I would
years
say same thing with
can't
Casey.
pay him even more.
Yeah.
Casey Wallace was great in Game 7.
He was good.
Honestly, like in terms of Game 7 MVP, it's Casey Wallace. But Finals MVP, it's Shea, obviously.
Right.
Topic's going to be healthy. Dylan Jones is all right. There's a bunch of just random young guys off the bench that contribute. The other Jalen Williams they have on the team still on his rookie contract. Isaiah Joe, I don't think he's still on his rookie contract. I believe he's extended. They have a lot of guys that aren't paid much.
Right.
So they're set up perfectly.
Right.
I think they can lock all 3 of them down, especially since the cap keeps getting expanded. So it keeps changing.
Yeah.
So they are they have the opportunity to become the next dynasty.
Well, that's going to bring
True
me
dynasty in a small market too.
right. Well, that's going to bring me to my next question. Right. So Eastern Conference is going to take a step back this upcoming year.
Really, like I'm not
Unfortunately.
even like a step back. I'm talking like
A leap back.
like falling at the top of the staircase all the way down.
My first question is, who do you think is going to be the best team in the East
Cleveland.
next year? I was thinking
It's
the same.
Cleveland. I think Cleveland can win the East next year.
Hear me out. This is This is who I am buying right now.
Tell me Orlando.
Orlando
Orlando.
freaking Magic with Paulo Banchero, Franz Wagner. You want to talk about another young team with some great stars?
Mm-hmm.
Orlando.
I do love Orlando. I don't like how much we talked about this last week. I don't like how much they gave up in the trade.
It's fair.
That was crazy. But yes, Orlando's on the up and coming. The same
Right.
as Detroit is last year.
Detroit. Oh, that's a good one too.
People forget too.
Detroit. I didn't even think of Detroit.
Orlando, not this past year, but the year before, was a top 4 seed in the East.
That's what I'm saying.
And they were doing more with less.
Right.
Like now they have a Desmond Bane who could be a great 3-and-D player.
Right.
You're out on KCP. You don't have Cole Anthony off the bench, but now Anthony Black can take a step up.
Right.
Finally, he'll
Yep.
have more minutes. Jalen Suggs, before getting hurt last
Suggs?
year, was playing pretty well.
I know.
Is
He's
he
just
a-
got to stay
I
healthy.
just don't think he's a point guard, though.
I don't think so
That's
either.
the thing. They don't have a true point guard. Could be Anthony Black, but I don't think it is. Jalen Suggs is more of a shooting guard.
Yeah.
But Desmond Bane's going to command the shooting guard, so
Mhm.
Suggs is going to have to play the 1, but he's not a 1. So
Where are they drafting? Could they draft the one?
I think they gave up their. They gave
Did
up their
they?
first
Oh,
round pick.
yeah. In trade.
It's to Memphis.
Yep.
They go and sign somebody this offseason? Yeah, probably. You know who'd be a great fit?
Giannis.
Well, that's what I say since the beginning. Would be Drew Holiday if he's bought out.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
he probably is going to get bought out. I think he'd be a great pickup.
What about Jalen Green?
So yeah, that was literally, I have that in my mental notes to talk about.
Do you?
Jalen Green would have been a perfect pickup for them. But
He still could.
they're not gonna have the draft picks. That's
Yeah,
the issue. They
that's
don't have
true.
the draft picks. I don't even know how they make that work cap wise because
Yeah,
they just lost all their cap that was flexible. To me.
that's true.
Unless you move like a Mo Wagner, but he's really not paid much.
Yeah.
They really don't have much to move. I 100% agree. Yeah, I mean we can move on to some of the trades and some of how the offseason's going.
Yeah.
Jalen Green, KD traded this past week while at Fanatics Fest. Traded for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, a first-round pick,
About 14
and,
second
yeah,
rounders.
5 second-round picks.
Yeah.
I'm sure that he wasn't worth. I don't think he would have been worth 2 with Jalen Green. So they're probably like throw in as many second-round draft picks as you have.
What are your thoughts? Who won the trade?
I'm back and forth.
I hate it.
I'm back.
You
and
know how I feel
forth.
about KD, so like I'm just gonna leave it
Yeah,
at that.
I don't like them giving up Jalen Green.
Me neither.
You can't just give up on Jalen Green.
After 1 year, he played well all season long.
He did.
Like,
He's
yeah, he
averaging
beat.
20 plus.
He's 22.
He's young.
Like, I mean, give the kid a chance. I
know.
understand he
No, I
beefed it,
100% agree.
but like, my goodness,
The only thing is it's so tough because who would you rather give up, a Men or Jalen Green? But I feel like I'd still give up a Men.
you didn't have to give up either, in my opinion. Why?
You'd have to throw in more first-round picks. That's a
no,
lot of first-round
that's not my point. I wouldn't have.
The
Why?
big thing is contracts. It's contracts and
But
matching
it
salary.
wasn't even. I guess Jalen Green had to get paid, right? He's
He's
getting
already
paid
been
this year.
paid.
Has he?
Yeah, he's been extended.
I
He
don't know.
just got extended too.
I don't know.
Because technically, the reason why the trade hasn't gone official is because this is the end of his rookie contract. So the second, I believe July 6th comes in, he actually goes on to his extension.
Okay.
So they have to wait for the trade to go official. I don't know, dude. I'm back and forth. Who won? I think it's a great trade for Phoenix. You got a young, promising star.
and they needed to
for
move him.
KD,
Yeah,
who
no.
is
Oh,
expiring.
I think Phoenix killed it. You know,
The only thing is they
have 400
dude,
guards.
They have 400 guards. It's Grayson Allen. I consider Royce
Oh, I
O'Neal.
forgot Grayson Allen's still there.
Bradley Beal, Devin Booker.
Yep.
Bradley Beal, or not Bradley Beal.
Bradley
Jalen
Beal
Green.
again.
Literally,
Three Bradley Beals.
That's a whole mess in itself.
Yeah, I know.
Ryan Dunn. They have so many guards that they don't know what to do with. That's why I think Jalen Green ends up getting flipped, and I think Bradley Beal somehow ends up in that deal too. Not to the same team, but to somebody else.
I don't mind it.
So my top 3 teams, and I'll throw in an honorable mention for Jalen Green. My honorable mention would have been Orlando.
Love that.
That would have been my number 1, but I'll put him honorable mention because I don't think realistically they can make the deal anymore.
Fair.
He would have been perfect. Jalen Green, Paulo, and Franz Wagner for the future.
It'd be sick.
You wouldn't even have to give 4 first-round
Right.
picks to get
And
him.
in the East, and in the
You're
Eastern
trying to tell me
Conference.
Desmond Bane better than Jalen Green? No. Absolutely not.
I like Desmond Bane though. He's good.
Yeah, I like Desmond Bane. 3, I like Toronto. Toronto would be an
Ooh,
interesting one. They could
yeah.
really use a guard for the future.
Yeah.
They have Scotty
Him,
Barnes.
they got Grady
Dick's
Dick,
more
yeah.
of like a forward.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Then you also have like Jakob Poeltl's at the center position, but then you also you have a bunch of young guys, but nobody really to run the guard position.
Yeah.
That'd be my 3. Number 2 is Charlotte with LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, and Mark Williams. I think it'd be a great trade. And I think it'd be perfect for Phoenix too, because they can bring in Bridges as a swap, and then Charlotte throws in a first-round pick or 2. You bring a big man in that could actually play with.
Yeah,
Devin
but they're not
Booker.
going to get rid of their first rounder, would they, Charlotte?
I think to finally actually add a not a big 3, but a very promising young big 3 would be great for them. Number 1, and I think this would be fascinating because you'd pair up the number 1 and number 2 overall draft pick from Jalen Green's rookie year as Pistons. No, you put Cade Cunningham at the 1.
Yeah, that's juicy.
Jalen Green at the 2. You'd probably run Asar at the 3.
Could they afford that though?
I think they could. 100%.
Because Cade has a bag.
Yeah, no, they can afford it because Duran's not getting paid crazy. Tobias Harris contract isn't as big as anymore. You put Tobias at the 3, Asar at the 4, Durant at the 5. You got to get rid of like Isaiah Stewart. Jaden Ivey, finally get him out of that situation.
Yep.
You figure out contract-wise, maybe like Malik Beasley in there, 2 first-round picks, and boom, we're done.
Yeah, that's
you
juicy.
give Detroit a true opportunity to win.
They probably
After having a great, promising season last year,
they probably take that 1 seed.
they could.
That'd be sick.
They could
Yeah,
arguably be a
the best
favorite
team in the East. Yeah,
They could truly be a favorite in the East.
I don't mind that.
I think that'd be a great spot for Jalen.
Heck yeah.
Is Detroit? Listen, you wanna really put your pedals to the metal and compete in Detroit.
Yeah, at this
Jalen
point,
Green.
if I'm Jalen Green, I'm like, screw Houston, dude. They want to disrespect me.
He's not,
Screw.
and he's not gonna be he's not gonna fit in Phoenix.
No, I agree. I wouldn't
So
want
I
to play
say-
in Phoenix.
So then it goes into like where also, because we'll take a step back and look at his card market too. And you talked about it, like where do you go with his card market?
I buy.
I buy him too. I was literally going through my
I'm-
collection.
I'm
for all my
curious-
Jalen Green rookies yesterday.
I'm curious to see where his market is, like right this second. I'm sure it's up a little bit after the trade.
Well, the tough thing is like the playoffs did not help.
No, it
Did
didn't.
not help. And he
But-
was somebody right away I said to invest in before the playoffs because I thought they were going to make a run.
Yeah,
So now I don't think he's a bad investment
I agree.
at all. I think
No.
it's a great investment.
I think because he's down heavy.
because
in my
he's
opinion.
going to go, if he goes somewhere else that he can really score
Right.
and turn it around, Jalen Green.
On the other hand, if he
Great
stays in Phoenix,
he signs a good
Yeah,
part of
yeah.
the time.
if he stays in Phoenix, would you still buy?
No,
Me neither.
I wouldn't either.
Like, and it sucks. So we're
Probably not. That's
so
the
you're
tough part.
kind of risk rewarding that he's going to get traded.
Yeah.
You're praying that he
I
gets
think-
traded.
Yeah, I think he does too.
Yeah.
I think he does too.
Fair.
Another trade, which happened on Monday night. Drew Holiday traded
Yeah,
for
nice.
Anthony Simons in a couple second-round picks. You want to talk about getting fleeced? Is Portland?
Yeah.
Anthony Simons a great, promising young guard.
Drew Holiday's been in the league since like 2006.
Yeah.
Shout out Drew. I love Drew Holiday.
100%.
OG
But
Buck
Anthony
right there.
Simons
Yeah,
is a
dude.
great young guard. Do I think Boston can still compete with Simons? No. Not without Tatum.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to compete. But I think it shows Celtics are about to change up their roster.
Yeah. No.
Drew Holiday was the first domino.
as
to
they
fall.
should.
They're
you
going
know?
to trade Kristaps.
Oh yeah.
But you know what I'm surprised about? And I think it would
And
be
Al Horford's probably going
Al
to retire.
Horford's a free agent.
Yeah.
I think he's gonna move on. They've been talking about him with New York. I think they should open up that trade and get Kristaps out and try to add first round picks to bring in DeAndre Ayton to Boston. Now
Ugh.
we're talking possibly competing.
DeAndre Ayton. You think
Just
he's going to
because
bring you over the hump?
Yes. But if
Ugh.
you want to actually compete in the East next year, you could bring in a center, which they desperately need.
They do,
It's
yeah.
a center. And you have a starting lineup of Anthony Simons, Jaylen Brown, I want to blank out, Derek White. I don't know who would run the 4, and then 5 would be DeAndre Ayton. I think it'd be interesting. It would match salary-wise because Kristaps gets paid a bag.
Yeah.
So why not open up that trade? They're also, Portland's going to get rid of Ayton this offseason, I think. Throw in first-round picks, and you can compete. Just my thought, just my opinion.
Do you think they'd give up first round picks for Kristaps Porzingis?
To get rid of him? Maybe, yeah. Portland wouldn't have to put in first. I'm
I'm sorry.
Celtics would put in first round
That
pick
makes more sense.
to
I was
get-
like, wait,
to
that
get rid
doesn't.
of- And if you had Tatum back in the mix in a year, oh my gosh, are they favorites to win the East?
Yeah.
With Ayton, Simons, Brown, Tatum.
East just sucks, dude. It's so bad compared to the East.
That's why, dude. That's why I think. Listen, just saying, Sixers have a wide open. We were talking about this last night.
Oh, the Sixers.
If
We didn't even mention the
Embiid
Sixers.
is healthy next year.
You got to have everybody healthy.
If everybody's healthy on Philly next year,
could be. I
there
agree.
is zero excuse.
Agree.
For Embiid not to make a championship run.
I agree with that.
Or at least make the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
There is no excuse.
Let's focus on getting into the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
They were hurt this year. That's another
I'm
thing.
kidding.
When we get down to the NBA draft, that's another thing because Sixers have the number 3 overall pick on Wednesday.
Yeah, that's
night.
big. Are you excited?
No.
No?
Yes, but no, because I have a feeling they're going to make the wrong pick. All
right, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. So then we also have free agency coming up, too. Free agency's less than a week away, Connor.
I know.
The season just ended.
I know.
And the free agency is less than, it's not a great free agency class. That's the thing. You have a lot of guys who are on option-based contracts who can either opt in, opt out. Chris Middleton already opted in. I think Steven Adams already signed his extension.
Nice.
All right. Technically, LeBron's an unrestricted free agent. He's not leaving. Kyrie's technically an unrestricted free agent. He's not leaving. James Harden, probably not leaving. Cam Thomas is restricted in Brooklyn. I can't imagine Brooklyn lets him walk.
Right, I wouldn't.
I can't imagine. You have nobody on roster.
Yeah, he's their best player.
He's literally their best player, nobody on roster. John Collins is unrestricted, but he's somebody that will probably opt in to his contract. He's got a player option, if I'm not mistaken. Randall's unrestricted. Can't imagine he leaves. Malik Beasley could walk. Miles Turner is, I think, logistically probably the best free agency player that realistically could walk.
Yeah.
Because then it goes to like Jonathan Kuminga, but he's restricted. Giddey's restricted. Quentin Grimes restricted. Naz Reid's one. No, take that back.
Okay.
Naz Reid is an interesting one in Toronto. Not Toronto, Minnesota. He's a great pluck for anybody. He's going to get paid a bag. He might get paid $30 million this year.
Damn.
Because people don't talk about how good he is in Minnesota. He's a big reason they've won. Because coming off the bench, sometimes he started sometimes, but he's a great player for Minnesota.
Yeah.
That can get paid a bag. Westbrook, I think, leaves. He's somebody I could see going to Houston, running it back with KD.
That'd be cool.
But realistically, there's just not a lot of good free agents.
Yeah.
Brooke Lopez is one. Schroeder, I'll just name off a bunch.
Dennis
Brogdon, Russell, Mo Wagner, Santi Aldama's restricted. Ty Jerome's going to get paid good this year.
Was he still in Phoenix or no? Where is Ty Jerome?
Ty Jerome's in Cleveland. Great.
Cleveland. Yep.
Absolutely unbelievable year.
Yeah.
Unbelievable year this year for Cleveland, honestly, which is crazy. He averaged 12 points per game just out of nowhere. Gary Trent's unrestricted. Middleton just signed. Duncan Robinson unrestricted. Gershon Yabusele. But yeah, that's basically it. Nobody
crazy.
No Paul George this year.
Yeah.
No, nobody really of that caliber.
Fair.
So that's why I think the draft's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Because I think there's going to be a big trade market.
You think the first pick's going to get traded or no?
No.
Yeah,
Dallas already leaked.
Yeah.
They already put Cooper Flag up on their website on accident.
Did they actually?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
On accident.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. It was always, I never thought they were going to trade it.
Yeah.
Like we talk and we throw out hypotheticals, but why would you ever trade it?
No, you can't.
You would never trade. Not to compare like him to LeBron, but like would Cleveland ever have traded the number 1 pick? No. Were Pelicans ever going to trade the number 1 pick for Zion? No. Spurs, Wemby? No.
Right.
Like those players, we were like, holy crap, this is that guy.
Right. No, I agree with that.
They were never trading those picks. So then it goes down to the Spurs at 2. Dylan Harper, great pick. Could they trade? Maybe. Probably not. There's been talk about Philly moving up to 2, Spurs moving down to 3, just so they can get Dylan Harper. Don't necessarily like it, but
who do you want as a Sixers fan?
Lord, do I want Ace Bailey? Please, Daryl Morey, if you're out there, draft Ace Bailey. I don't want VJ Edgecombe. I don't want Trey Johnson. Ace Bailey fits perfectly into the Sixers roster because they've been dying for a stretch 4 for a long, long time. And Ace Bailey is the definition of a stretch 4.
Nice.
Rucker said he's 6'10". NBA Combine said he's 6'7".
Jesus.
He's going to grow. I don't know what he actually is.
He's going to grow?
I think so.
He's a grown man.
18.
He's 18?
18.
Man, could you imagine getting drafted at 18?
Could you imagine being 6'7"?
No.
Not us.
No. I could barely imagine being 5'7".
Right? Ace Bailey can score, man. Ace Bailey's good.
Yeah.
He's the right pick. He canceled his pre-draft workout with the Sixers, but he also people don't talk about he hasn't done a single pre-draft workout.
That's also not good,
No,
though.
it's not good at all. But
You still want him?
yes,
Okay.
because I think he's going to be a superstar.
Mm.
I would die on this hill. He's the next Kevin Durant.
You know who else canceled their preseason workouts? Shedeur Sanders.
That's the comparison. He's not going to drop that.
I don't like it. No.
No,
Well,
yeah.
it's kind of impossible.
Ace Bailey's
to drop.
actually a star.
Yeah, no, I know.
Shedor's just carrying off his dad's legacy.
Ooh, zing.
I
Sorry.
just think if you're Daryl Morey and you are so secure in your position as a 76ers president of operations,
Lock him in.
And if he doesn't work out, who cares? It is not going to affect your career.
Agree. They still have a great team. You guys are still going to have a great team.
And he goes to
and he balls
like
out.
the Wizards or somebody, and he's the next Kevin Durant, I'm going to be sick again because we traded a all-star.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of letting go of these guys that end up being all-stars. Drew Holiday. Why did we ever let him go? Mikal Bridges. Why the heck did we ever trade him? Why did we not draft Jason Tatum? I would have taken Lonzo Ball over Markelle Fultz.
Yeah, is that who you get? Oh, first overall, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, there's so many guys, the Sixers, people forget, just actually played for the Sixers or they traded him on draft night or whatever. Just draft Ace Bailey.
It's tough, dude.
Please.
Yep.
Please. I don't want VJ.
Get it right.
Or the only thing is, Sixers, I think, are the most coveted spot in the draft.
I don't know what that
means.
means.
Realistically, they could trade the 3 spot.
What does coveted mean?
Very sought after. Teams want that 3 spot because of Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe, Trey Johnson.
Yep.
Where if they can trade up, they'll do it because Sixers they're in a win now mode where they can be flexible.
Well, that was going to be my question. Where do you think Amari goes? Honestly, Bradley.
Who?
Bradley. Barry.
Who is
Bailey.
that?
Sorry, we got to cut this.
Ace Bailey.
Ace Bailey. Sorry.
I think I'm telling you, I think
Bradley.
the Sixers take him.
You think so?
Yeah, you want to know my best bet?
I thought you said that you don't think they're going to take him.
Well, that's all the talk this week is that they're not taking him at 3. I still think they do.
If they don't, where do you think he gets drafted?
If he doesn't get drafted at 3, he's going to drop to 6 or 7.
Really? Dang.
Yep. That's why I'm wondering if the Sixers should trade down.
That's what I'm saying.
Dude, let me show you. See if I can pull it up real quick. The odds to get drafted number 3 overall. Because
For Ace?
Yep. Because he's falling down a lot.
Well, yeah, probably because he's not doing workouts.
It's getting close to like plus 600-700, depending on the sports book you look at.
That's not good.
Oh my gosh. Throw your life. No, don't throw your life savings on that. Dude, I've already done it. That's the move. Ace Bailey, number 3, plus around 600. Book it.
Okay.
It's great.
I trust you.
now the favorite to go. I love it. I absolutely love it. He's getting drafted by the Sixers.
Okay. I trust you. I'm going to bet it.
Lord, I hope. Because we need to win the East next year.
Yep.
I can't do this again. I'm so sad. I got tough teams. I'm so sick of losing.
I feel that,
playoffs,
brother.
Man.
I feel that.
Luckily, the Yankees went to the World Series last year.
Yes.
I'm so sick of losing.
Yep.
Just give me some wins, man.
I just want to make a game. I would love to make a Super Bowl. I would, at this point, give me a postseason. Pirates,
that's fair.
probably not going to make postseason
That's
this year.
fair. All right, we'll move it a little bit.
Yes.
We'll kind of cruise through some other topics. Training camp a month away.
Yes.
Anything headline? Anything you're excited about?
I am. I'm very excited. I'm concerned about the Bengals a lot. Their number 1 pick has not signed their contract. And you want to know something? At first, I was like, this guy's being a dummy. Just, you're a rookie. Not his fault. I would do the same exact thing.
Interesting.
It's absolutely ridiculous. The Bengals are the cheapest team that I've ever seen in my life.
They won't pay Trey Hendricks either.
Yeah, that whole situation. I don't think the Bengals are going. How are they going to be better? Like everybody says it in my chat. The Bengals are going to be great. They're going to be competing for the division. What did they do this offseason to get any better?
Nothing. Just re-signing players they already had.
I'll tell you one thing they did really well that helped. Lost Trey Hendrickson after having the worst defensive performance that I've ever seen. And Sam Hubbard retired, I think.
Yep.
Like, they're going to be atrocious.
Their defense is going to be really bad.
Right? And Joe
and the
Burrow.
one guy they draft to help it hasn't signed his
It's not
contract.
signed.
Not signed.
And tell me this. What season do you think Joe Burrow had his best season ever?
Rookie season?
Nope, last year.
Oh, last year. Yeah,
last year by far.
Yeah.
If he would have made the playoffs, he would have cold cut MVP no matter what. it's kind of hard to replicate seasons like that.
Yep.
So what people are telling me is that the defense got worse. They didn't address their offensive line issues. And Joe Burrow's going to have a better season than he did last year.
Yep. Yeah.
And the Ravens got even better.
They're paying everybody on offense. Like, they just can't survive that way.
Well, they're not only paying. The thing is, they're not paying.
Browns making a bag.
Right. They're paying 4 people.
Yep.
Oh, like too much. I'm not going to say too much because I'm always game for players getting the bag.
100%.
But like, you have to take care of your other players.
You do.
You have to delegate. Like, it's not. This isn't baseball.
They should have let go of T. Higgins. They should have.
I agree.
They should.
And I love T. Higgins. I was hoping he'd come to us.
They thought it was Jamar Chase half the time anyway.
Right.
Like, just go draft a guy.
Right.
And then
Draft a wide receiver.
put your
Dude,
money
this was
defensively.
such a good wide receiver draft for them to do it.
Yep.
A
Could've
BK,
taken Burden,
dude,
like McMillan.
The guy
Well,
we
they
took,
would've taken McMillan.
Harris, if you want to wait until the second round.
Dude, I think Trey. I'm telling you,
We got him in the second round.
I'm sure we've talked
Dude,
about this.
The
I
Bengals
think
could
Trey
have.
Harris.
Oh,
Yep.
they screwed up, dude. They screwed up.
I think Trey Harris was the best wide receiver in the class.
So frustrating because
I love Trey Harris.
because the reason why I'm so frustrated is because I love Joe Burrow, and it's just so frustrating. It's frustrating to see.
I understand.
But
He deserves more.
But other than that, super excited.
Oh, I'm so pumped.
Chargers, I'm fired up about. Hampton looks like a monster.
I'm so pumped.
Oh!
I just keep seeing videos of JJ McCarthy, and I'm just
He
I'm
looks
just
good,
I'm
dude.
Just ready, dude.
And I'll tell you what, that team's. I've been watching a lot of interviews with the Vikings.
Me
That team's
too.
really embracing him as a
I think
leader.
They are too. I think they are too.
That's big.
That's kind of what I've noticed. Like,
That was the biggest thing I was nervous about for you, Dante. Was
Yeah,
like
it's-
that the team was going to look at him as kind of
You have to accept your quarterback.
right. But you have to. But because he's your quarterback, but sometimes you can tell a team's a little uncomfortable doing it. Like the Panthers with Bryce Young,
100%.
little nervous. Look at what happened. He went out there and
100%.
flopped. It
Anthony
feels
Richardson's the same.
in you want Caleb Williams is another prime example in my opinion.
Well,
And they had a rough year, but I think he's still fine. I think he's going to do great. But one thing I will say about the whole off topic, Caleb Williams, let's just stay out of the public here for a second. Let's just focus on playing football.
Dude,
let's just shut our mouth. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Let's focus on winning games and playing football.
you know what we never talked about was the interview with his dad.
Ridiculous. First off,
That popped me up.
from an outsider's point, are you talking about he didn't want to go there?
He wanted to go to Minnesota.
Okay. I mean, just it's over now. Who cares?
100%.
Like it's
What can you
just
do?
it's stupid to even bring it up. And as a father, you have no skin in the game. Like this is your son's career. You're making your son look bad when you say stupid stuff like that.
100%.
Stay out of your
It's like-
son's
it's
business.
like
He's a
LeVar.
grown man. Like if my dad ever said that, I'd be like, shut up. Shut up. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
It's just, I'm sorry. I know I'm
No,
a
I
little
get it.
riled up, but it's just ridiculous.
No, I get it.
Like, let your kid, he already had a rough year. He already gets picked on for stupid things. Shut up. Shut up.
Yep. No, dude.
I don't know.
I'm with you. No, he loves it. No, he
No,
loves it
nose
over
fist
here.
bumping over here.
He's like, I feel the same.
Right. It's just stupid. Like let your kid talk. I don't know.
No, I'm with you.
To all
I
you
get it.
dads out
I
there,
get it.
I know you're emotional and I know you love your son. Relax. Okay. It's his game. But I digress. Hampton looks like a beast. We're going to have a great year. We're going to go undefeated,
Yeah,
win
I'm
the
excited.
AFC West.
I'm excited. We're close. We're close.
Do you like your schedule? I don't know if we talked
Their
about schedule release.
Sucks this year, Vikings.
Same.
But it sucked last year too.
It
They
did, and you
still
guys balled
won
out.
13
Right.
games.
You want to know what I'm most curious to see what happens? And this is no are you a Sam Darnold liker? You like Sam Darnold?
Yes, but I don't think he works in Seattle.
So that was going to be my thing.
He's not going to work in Seattle.
We're gonna-
Jalen Milroe takes the position.
We're going to see if it was Kevin O'Connell, the freaking QB guru, or if it was Sam Darnold,
It was a
the
little bit
resurgent. You think
both.
so?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both, but I don't think he's going to have that same year. But he does have Cooper Kupp.
Does have
And he
Cooper Kupp.
also has.
But he does
Jackson
not have
Smith-Njigba.
that offensive line that he had. I think
Oh,
Seattle.
no, that offensive line sucks in Seattle.
It suck?
Yeah, it's not that great.
So we're gonna see.
See, Russell Wilson was begging for years to get any help on the offensive line. I don't think it looks good.
That's true.
Let's talk about, because we didn't get to go, but
No.
watching everything transpire
Oh,
on social media and
my
whatnot.
goodness.
But Fanatics Fest looked awesome this
Unreal.
past weekend. All the stars were out. You had LeBron, Wemby, Kevin Durant, Streeter.
Yep.
You had
Streeter
all,
was there.
You had all the stars in the building.
There was literally anybody you can think of was there. Drewski, Aiden Ross,
Speed,
Gary.
Gary V.
Shout out Gary.
Everybody was
Anybody you can think of was there.
there. Literally.
So yeah, that was sick.
No, it looked really good.
I had a customer tell me, because I was curious. I've only been to the National. I've never been to Fanatics Fest.
Neither.
The National's massive. I was curious to see how many people went to the show. He found out this was on
Exact number.
Oh, close, relative. They said it on Sunday.
Do you combine people going back again? Probably.
I don't
right?
know. Probably. Yeah, I would say.
Probably 750K.
No, Jesus
Is
Christ.
that too many?
That's way too many.
Oh.
117,000 people. That's a lot.
Yeah, no, that was crazy. Why did I say 750K?
750,000 people.
That's a lot.
That is an
Sorry.
eighth
Yeah,
of the
that's a lot.
population of New York City.
That's a lot.
Sorry.
No, that over 100K is a lot, man.
Yeah.
That's
sick. This hobby's growing, man. I'm excited.
Really, but the thing is, too, is obviously we talked about it a couple weeks ago. It's the hobby, but it's also just the sports industry.
Yep.
Where like they bring an element of both. Like I had somebody I knew from college who was not a big sports collector.
Same.
He went for the show, the entertainment.
That's so funny you say that.
Interview.
Same. My buddy from high school messaged me. I don't talk to him very often. Not a card collector. He's like, he lives in Long Island now, so he's like, I'm gonna take the drive up, check it out. He said, I saw your booth there. It was awesome. Great experience. I was like, it's cool. And that's why, like, again, I haven't been there, but it seems like it's more of, and don't get me, I love the National. National's more for like card collectors.
100%. And
this
I
is
love
more of
that.
me too.
And I love that.
Me too. There are aspects of both that you love. You know what I mean?
100%.
So yeah, it was awesome.
I like how they still like play. I don't want to say Fanatics Fest integrates them, but I think the celebrities integrate themselves into the card
Agreed.
market, where they go to the tables,
Open
they
packs.
buy
Yep.
stuff, they talk, they open packs, and then they start to fall in love with the industry, and that's kind of sparks it. And I think that's a little bit maybe what Ruben's trying to do.
Oh, I'm
Is
sure.
get these athletes anymore. I even saw, what's funny, like last night I was on Instagram and Fanatics actually did like a player celebrity, like I don't want to say training course, but like they had a 3-day event during Fanatics Fest with a bunch of players, integrating them into how they can expand their self-market, their
That's
like
so
things
cool.
for themselves, basically.
That's really cool.
Which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of decent, not a lot of like big names, but like I saw Fred VanVleet was there. I
that's
saw
sick.
certain players were there, which was really cool. I'm trying to remember, DeMar Hamlin was there.
Nice.
They're a bunch of decent sized names. Nobody like
Right.
Tom Brady because like
Like that
don't
mid-tier,
need-
good mid-tier
100%,
players.
a lot of mid-tier players.
Fair.
So what do you think Fanatics Fest kind of does for the immediate market? Here's what I think. So
Yeah, go ahead.
basically with the immediate market, I think it's like a marathon. Have you ever been to a marathon race?
Nope.
Basically, I feel
I
like
hate running.
every time I go to a marathon, there's that one day where I'm like, man, I should start training and being a marathon.
Oh, I'm sorry. You made it sound like you run marathons.
No, absolutely not.
Last
No,
week,
not me.
at my
But, like,
marathon.
I feel like everybody leaves
Yeah,
a marathon
no.
and they're like, man, I could do
I gotta
this.
get healthier.
I'm going to train. I'm going to get healthy. And then 2 days later, they're like, nah, never mind. Basically, I think I see that a little bit right. It's not
Fair.
necessarily because the market's not going to go anywhere, but I think there's that post boost where
Yeah.
people are like, oh, I'm going to go buy a ton of crap. Not crap. I'm going to go buy a ton of cards because I just come off this Fanatics high.
Fair.
And you don't have to be there. I feel it. And I'm like, man, I just want to buy some cards right now
Right.
because I see everything at Fanatics Fest and everything going on. And I compare those two where you're like, dude, you see where the market is, and it's at a high.
Yeah.
And
It's like that instant gratification after.
100%.
That makes sense.
100%.
Yeah, no, I
That's why I
agree.
compare it to a marathon, is because you feel something for a quick stretch, and then you're like, oh, never mind. But it's not that the market. It's just like, I don't know. That's how I feel every time I go to a marathon. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. And then, nah.
Never mind.
Kind of like, yeah. How do you feel like it's gonna go? Continue to rise, obviously, with just more events going on.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's tough because it's all going to depend on, in my opinion, I've been collecting since before COVID, right?
Mhm.
I've been there for the COVID boom. I've been there after the COVID boom where it took a little drop, obviously not down to where it was prior, but took a big drop and then it started to increase and then it fluctuates, right? And I think with Fanatics taking over, it all comes down to supply and demand, right? the more people that they bring into the hobby with Fanatics, obviously more people are going to come into the hobby. That's what I'm trying to say, right? Fanatics has a situation on their hand to where they have two options, right? They can either A, be like, we need to produce as much as possible now, and it's going to tank the market, or B, stay at that plateau to where they produce the sweet spot, that right amount of product to where if more and more people come in, it's going to drive the value up on that product. So in my opinion, I think I think they're going to plateau it out. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with Panini. It's up in the air for me. I don't have a set in stone answer because I truly don't know when that's going to happen. I do think eventually Topps and Fanatics is going to be taking over Panini. I don't know when, and that's the problem. Like we had just talked about, or you had just brought up how the Senior Bowl is now right. It's
sponsored by Panini. Just announced today.
Sponsored by Panini. What does that mean? That they're going to be here a little bit longer than expected?
I'm telling you, they drop like little subtle Easter eggs that they're like planning something.
Right.
Maybe it's just me reading things. I'm telling you, they drop Easter eggs where they're like,
I don't like that.
Nah, we're not leaving.
People think just because like we're a big company that like we know.
Street.
I
won't say it.
We have
but
no idea.
I'm not leaving.
He's not gosh darn leaving.
I'm not leaving.
Panini's not leaving.
I don't think Panini's leaving. They're setting up.
That's how I feel.
So this is perfect because I did really want to bring this up with you because I want to get your thoughts.
Correct.
So draft this week.
Yes.
Cooper Flag. But Panini is losing their NBA license September 1st for NBA. Are we going to see the quickest turnaround for Prism in the history of Panini? Dude,
Think Prism drops in August?
I think so. Dude, if you want a license
Cooper
Cooper Flag product, you need to flip something.
That's a good draft. I like this draft,
you need to
too.
flip something quick. I don't know how long logistically it takes to create those cards, but
I bet they've already started creating.
They probably have. They might have. And the thing is you can do those photo shoots at Summer League in a month when they're all in the same like buildings or facilities. You have a month, you'll have 2 months basically to flip this and get it out, and I think they do. Will quality control be bad? Probably.
24, this is going to be 25, 26,
25,
right?
26, Cooper Flag's class. Dude, I'm telling you, people will buy Prism if it's unlicensed, but it's not going to go well.
No.
It's not going to go amazing. So if you can get a Cooper Flag for rookie year Prism out.
Dang. That's insane that it's that early. Holy crap.
Yeah. September 1st is tough. I wish it was October 1st.
That'd make it a lot easier for Panini.
100%.
That's their like last hoorah.
It's very interesting though that it doesn't start with the new year because the new year starts July 1st at 12 a.m. So why doesn't it start?
Well, here's a question. Would you rather now if that's the case, right? They're gonna come out with Topps Chrome of that draft class licensed, correct?
Yep.
Would you rather, if Prism drops, would you rather have the Prism licensed or Topps Chrome licensed?
Prism. All day, every day.
I disagree.
Twice on Tuesday.
I disagree 100%.
You'd rather have
Licensed Topps Chrome? Yes, I would.
over licensed?
First year licensed Topps Chrome for basketball with Cooper Flag? Are you kidding me?
I just, dude.
Because then it just
I just
feels
don't like the look of Chrome.
Well, maybe
really
this
don't
year.
like the
What about
Chrome.
next year? What about this upcoming year? This is my thing.
Prism beats it all day. I think it's like 10 times
So
better.
so you're telling me the cash grab Prism, where they're pumping it out a month after the draft, you're gonna appreciate that more than a first year where they've been grinding to get this license, and it's going to be Topps Chrome from here on out.
It's tough because all three of those guys are signing with Topps.
Think about this.
But I just like.
Do you remember when it was first year Prism? Do you know what those cards go for now?
They
Obviously,
do
it was a
Of
different
course.
market back then, and they're beautiful cards. I think it's going to be the same thing with
dude.
Topps Chrome, dude. And it's a nasty draft class. It's
It is
a nasty draft class. Like
See, I'm still taking Prism.
that's crazy.
I think Prism's just so much better. I think the look's better. I think Topps would have to do a lot with Chrome to make it look better. Because right now,
I think they will because it's going to be licensed,
but
dude.
what more can you do? That's the thing. Football was all right. It was a lot better design of this year's basketball. I don't know if you've seen this year's basketball Chrome. It's mid.
It is.
It's like
I'm
a
not.
6 out
I
of
mean,
10
it's the same
design.
thing with football.
5 out of 10 design.
But like,
They
is
need to
that
take a big
is that
step
just?
up.
But hear me out. And this might be going too deep. is that all in our psyche, thinking like
Maybe.
it is?
I know
It
what
has
you're gonna
been.
say.
It's
Maybe.
always been Prism. You know what I mean? It's always been it.
Yeah.
They've been cutting corners for a long time, especially in my opinion, football. I think they've been cutting corners. And now they brought in DECA. They're bringing back those years. Those years, like you can't disagree. DECA, these past 2 years, they've looked sick. You want to know
They have
why?
looked great.
You want to know why
They're
they
a
looked
throwback.
better? You want to know why they look better than Prism these last couple of years? Because they took more care and they invested more time in the production of those cards back in 2012 and 2013
Yeah,
than they have today.
It's
And
fair.
I think Topps Chrome is going to take advantage of that, knowing that Panini, no offense, their Prism's been looking like crap these last couple of years, and they're going to produce the best card that they can for their first-year license.
I love Topps, and I mean,
Hey,
I know. Sorry, I love Panini. love
I
Panini.
do too, and I love Prism. I think Prism's king, and I'll always buy Prism of licensed product. I'm just saying, I think Topps Chrome is going to blow them out of the water, in my opinion. In my opinion, look at baseball. I've always been, as much as I love Prism, Bowman first for baseball, my favorite product every single year.
It is a
I
good
think
product.
it's the best looking cards out there, and I think that with basketball going into it, they're going to take an even more of a dive into that and make those cards look great. That's just me.
All right, let's kind of wrap up our main part of the show talking about Jaden Daniels, 1/1 Black Finite
Yes.
sold, which was pulled here at WeTheHobby.
Awesome.
Sold at the
So
Fanatics Fest to Josh Harris of the Commanders.
Yeah, shout out Josh Roth,
500K.
Josh Roth and
And a
Sports
signed Jaden
Taxi.
Daniels jersey.
Getting that deal done.
Yeah.
They've got he a little bit about Raw. I've been following. I don't even know if he knows who I am, but obviously I watch all of his content. Massive Commanders fan, always has been. So cool to see that. I know he made all for capitalism, made great money on that card.
100%.
Like it's that he's got to be in a wonderland right now. You know what I mean?
100%.
So 500,000 he got for it.
I mean, good for him. And it's
Yep.
so crazy because that card cost $30.
Yeah,
It's all, I'm telling you, this hobby can change people's lives.
it really does.
It really could change people's lives, and what a moment to be able to sell that to the Commanders. Roth didn't pull it; it was one of our buyers
Yep.
that pulled it.
Sold it to somebody.
Kinda
Somebody
made it up
sold it to somebody.
up the
Now,
train.
Now here's my question. How do you think that? Now, if you haven't seen the clip, the Commanders' whole crew was at a trade night, and they were yelling to the crowd, asking for Jaden Daniels' card, Daniels' best
that was
card.
set up.
And you think it was set up? You think so?
I don't.
Either way, right? That's how it went down. They sold it there. Do you think that the reason why they wanted to buy it, do you think it all stems back to the whole Paul Skeens card being sold, his best card
Could
now
be.
being on display? Do you think that maybe that had something to do with them encouraging them to, like, hey, wow,
Yeah, it could
their best
be.
player went and bought that. Well, I guess it wasn't the Pirates, but it was
Yeah.
an
City,
organization.
basically,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I wonder if it would be displayed at the stadium. It could be.
I think it will be.
Yeah, it
which would be
definitely could
so
be.
sick.
It would be cool.
It's ironic
Where?
because
I don't know.
we were talking about it, buying like their best cards and putting it on.
Yeah.
What if now like other organizations, like you want to know how sick it would be if the Chargers went out and bought Justin Herbert's Black Finite 101,
Or
put it
just
up in the
all of
stadium?
them, dude.
Right.
All of them had
Like
just
if
a display.
Like if I'm teams, and I guess that's coming as a collector.
Yeah.
If I'm teams, I'm going after my quarterback's best card and displaying it in their facilities.
I love that. I would love that. That'd be really cool.
Right.
It'd bring a different element into the in stadium experience. It doesn't have to be like best player. Just like it could be like not just Justin Jefferson, but JJ McCarthy,
Right.
Or Jordan Addison,
Right.
or a legend who's been there for a while, Harrison Smith, or you go back to like the greats that have played with like your team, and you throw it back, and yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah,
That'd be pretty cool.
agree.
Well, all right, Connor.
One last thing, I want to shout this out real quick. If we have any wrestling fans, big news. Yanni Diakomahalis, local here from Hilton, 3-time national champ, lost to a high schooler this past weekend for the World Team Trials. Shout out PJ Duke. Yanni, I am a friend. No disrespect, but
Damn.
bang. Secondly, best high school wrestler, committed at Iowa. I think his NIL was like $2 million, just decommitted.
Ooh.
Kind of cool. Bo Bassett. Pennsylvania boy. Or New Jersey, maybe? I don't know. Kind of cool news. Crazy news in the wrestling world.
Awesome.
But other than that, yeah.
All right. Well,
Great
hey,
show.
another great episode. We got the draft. I'm so excited. We'll be talking here
Me too.
next week about what actually happens. I think we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about next week because I think there's going to be a lot of trades.
Aaron Rodgers' fake
Aaron
wife,
Rodgers,
possibly.
Steeler, fake wife, possibly. His family doesn't believe he's actually married. I don't believe he's actually married.
I don't think so either.
I think he's just trying to make up an excuse. Not
Well, Manti Te'o,
but what
actually.
am I to say? Maybe he's in love. Maybe
Could be
Aaron
in love.
Rodgers is in love.
He's a changed man.
But yeah, he had a wedding band on his first
course
press
he
conference
did.
with the Steelers. They asked about it, said he was married.
I'm going to say this.
And the family doesn't think he's married.
Hot take. They take second in the division this year, the Steelers.
I agree.
Do you?
100%. Behind the Ravens?
Yes. Bengals take third.
Yeah.
Bengals go 7-10.
Browns come in dead last.
Last. They might not win a game.
Yeah, that'll do it here on episode 13 of Buying the Hobby. Make sure to follow us on all podcast streaming platforms, as well as on social media at Buying the Hobby. And yeah, have a great week. And it's hot as heck here.
Hot as heck. I love it.
It's hot as heck where you are. You're going out to play golf or hanging out with the family or barbecuing. I don't know. 4th of July is coming up too.
Yep. Throw some sunscreen on.
So that'll do it here on Buying the Hobby. And we'll see you next week.
We move.